Hi, welcome to this overview of the light vehicle AP03 and AP04 endpoint assessment requirement. This presentation will cover the requirements and format of the three assessment types within this apprenticeship standard and assessment plan. The first assessment type we will cover is the online knowledge assessments. Knowledge assessments are split into two separate assessments, Knowledge Test 1 and Knowledge Test 2. Knowledge tests are conducted either at the apprentice's training provider, where the assessments are scheduled and invigilated by the training provider, or remotely accessed and invigilated by an IMI-provided proctor. Knowledge Test 1 consists of 40 questions. These questions will be in several formats. This will include multi-choice, drag and drop, and ordering type of questions. The apprentice will be allocated 45 minutes to complete the knowledge assessment. The grading for this assessment is 65 to 84% to achieve a pass and 85 to 100% for a distinction grade. Knowledge Test 2 is set in the same format as Test 1, also utilizing multi-choice, drag and drop, and ordering type questions. For this assessment, the apprentice will have 60 questions to attempt and is allocated 75 minutes to complete this assessment. As with Knowledge Test 1, the grading for this assessment is 65% to 84% to achieve a pass grade and 85% to 100% for a distinction grade. The questions within Knowledge Test 1 and 2 are based on the knowledge groups shown in the image. Knowledge Test 1 is based on groups 2 to 5 and Knowledge Test 2 on groups 6 and 7. These details and further details regarding the knowledge assessment requirements can be found within the assessment plan for this standard. The second type of assessment for the light vehicle endpoint assessment are the skills assessments. These assessments are conducted in a workshop provided by the training provider, or alternatively, if requested, the IMI can provide workshops for these assessments to take place. There are 5 individual skills tasks that each apprentice will complete. Each task will require the apprentice to diagnose a fault on the vehicle and then continue to rectify that fault. The 5 skills assessments will take place over a 2-day period. The combined times of all 5 tasks will be between 9.5 and 10.5 hours. All skills assessments are observed and graded by an independent IMI assessor. Each of the 5 skills assessments will be based on the requirements of the assessment plan and aligned to the skill sets shown on this slide. Each of the tasks will require the apprentice to correctly diagnose and identify the fault, obtain and follow the prescribed repair procedures, and repair the fault. Each of the 5 skills tasks also have 5 questions the apprentice will be required to answer. A minimum of 3 questions will need to be answered correctly to obtain a pass grade. As with the knowledge assessment requirements, further details regarding the skills assessments can be found within the assessment plan for this standard. The final assessment type for the light vehicle endpoint assessment is the professional discussion. This assessment is conducted remotely with the IMI independent assessor. The professional discussion has a duration of 1 hour. Approximately 20 minutes will cover the behaviours and the remaining 40 minutes discussing the vehicle inspection and repair processes. During the behaviours section, there are 4 key areas that will be covered as detailed in the slide. The independent IMI assessor will discuss how the 4 behaviours are applied by the apprentice in their day-to-day workplace. The second part of the professional discussion is based upon the apprentice's knowledge of inspecting and repairing vehicles. This discussion will be based on one of the 5 workplace job cards that the apprentice will submit in their logbook. The independent IMI assessor will inform the apprentice which job card and task will be discussed prior to the professional discussion. The behaviours to be discussed are detailed on this slide. Further details and requirements can be found within the assessment plan for this standard. The second part of the professional discussion, exploring the apprentice's understanding and application of their skills within the workplace, is detailed on this slide. As with the other assessment types, further details and requirements can be found within the assessment plan for this standard. Prior to the apprentice progressing to their endpoint assessment, each apprentice must have completed the 3 requirements listed in this slide. They must complete and be certificated for a recognised F-gas qualification. They must have completed a logbook throughout the duration of their apprenticeship. Each apprentice must achieve and be certificated for maths and English. All of these prerequisites must be submitted to the IMI prior to the apprentice progressing on their endpoint assessment. All assessment requirements and assessment types for the light vehicle apprenticeship are produced by the Light Vehicle Employer Group. All regulatory requirements for this standard is maintained by the Office of Qualifications and Examination Regulation. Further details regarding this standard can be found on the Institute for Apprenticeships and Technical Education website. I hope you have found this presentation useful and it has given you a good understanding and insight of the light vehicle endpoint assessment requirements. If you require any further guidance regarding the endpoint assessment process or how the IMI can support you, please contact us via the contact details shown.